Hi, I'm Anthony J, and I'm going to be reviewing the brand new movie Power Rangers. Or should I say Saban's Power Rangers. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, I recommend you stop and you watch the non spoiler version, but this right here is the spoiler version. That's all I have to say. That and Krispy Kreme. As you know, this is my cinema review, so there's no special lighting or special effects or anything like that. Um, and it's kind of off script. But I'll give you the spoiler version. Here it is. Basically, the movie is set up like the first episode of Power Rangers, the very first one, where they take on Goldar. Rita is free. She attacks. Zordon summons the Power Rangers. It's the same basic idea. However, this time the movie focuses more on the actors playing the teenagers who are the Power Rangers. And while a lot of people will complain about that, I actually have to say I'm for it. Uh, One bad thing is you will not see too much of them as the Power Rangers, but that's because the movie is a character development type of movie. In fact, the only way for them to become Power Rangers is for them to learn to work with each other and let their barriers break down. So the movie starts off with a long time ago, Zordon is a Power Ranger, and he's been taken out by Rita, who used to be the Green Ranger. Basically, this Rita Repulsa was a Power Ranger who betrayed everyone. And cut to years, cut to thousands of years later, millions even, because this is the explanation of how dinosaurs get destroyed. Um, we are introduced to Jason the Red Ranger. His situation is he's under house arrest. He can go to school, but he has to go immediately home by 7 o'clock because he wrecked a vehicle and broke his leg, causing so much damage, which is a huge loss for the town because he is the star quarterback. But as I said, it's a very character-driven movie. You have Kimberly. Her deal is that she was a cheerleader, but she was kind of shunned by the other girls because she exposed another girl's nude pictures all over the school. And then you have the Yellow Ranger, Trini. It's Trini. The original TV show, she was Asian, so it's Trini Kwan. In the movie, she's Hispanic, so it's Trini. And I actually like her character because she is very, how can I say, chip on a shoulder, kind of a rebellious girl. And yes, if you heard the rumors, it is true, she is a lesbian. They don't come out and say the L word about it, but when approached about like her personal life, she was asked if she has boyfriend problems, and she says it in a snarky kind of way, like, yeah, boyfriend problems, boyfriend issues. Um, and then they question her again, wait, girlfriend issues? And then she just nods. And then you have Billy the Blue Ranger. Now, this one is different from the TV show. In the TV show, it was the 90s, so they didn't really treat nerds with respect, or geeks for that matter. So it was kind of cartoonish. In this movie, Billy is very intelligent because he's autistic. And he shows a lot of those quirks by him setting up everything and him going over each procedure in his mind. And then we have Zach, the Black Ranger, whose problem is that he's taking care of his very sick mother in a trailer, and he's just worried that he's going to lose her. So the movie again focuses on them trying to get to know each other and break down their barriers, and that way they can become Power Rangers. And it all starts when they discover a spaceship that's held the entity of Zordon and Alpha. Alpha 5 is the robot voiced by Bill Hader, and I actually like his performance. It's very comical. The Alpha 5 in a TV show was totally different because he was just the lovable robot. In the movie, he's kind of a tough, kind of snarky robot, but in a fun way. He's just there to guide the Rangers and be a continuing voice for Zordon. Zordon, played by Bryan Cranston, now, he's not a head in a tube, but he's actually a head on a wall. And I actually like that too, because the face travels all along the command center spaceship. And his purpose actually is to get the Rangers to unlock the morphing grid so that way he can be freed. And finally, Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa. Now, if you want to see someone have fun on screen as a villain, that's her. She took the role of Rita Repulsa, didn't make it as cartoonish, but made it very creepy. I won't get too much into it because I've done that in the past with other with other cinema reviews, and this movie I really don't want to ruin it for you. I know you've seen it too, so all I'm just saying is there's just a lot of fun in this movie. Eventually, Rita gets wind of the fact that there are new Power Rangers being trained, and she captures them and puts Billy in a situation where he's about to die. And they bring him back to Zordon, and with their, love and compassion for Billy that's grown over time, the morphin grid begins to be unlocked. And when Zordon can actually be freed, he chooses that moment to sacrifice his personal needs and bring life back to Billy, leaving him forever to be the big giant talking head. And I mean, if that's if that's not noble, I don't know what is. He actually says throughout the film many times that he's failed as a Power Ranger, and he just wants to see Jason, the new Red Ranger, lead the team better than he ever could. The driving force of the movie really is that Rita Repulsa is trying to gather enough gold so she create Goldar, make them big, and have them dig for the Zeo crystal. Huge Easter egg right there, because as you know, after Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came Power Rangers Zeo, and the Zeo crystals were the driving force of what created Power Rangers Zeo. So there are many Easter eggs in this film. For example, when the father of the Red Ranger is actually driving around looking for his son, he says he's on the corner of Reefside and Mariner Bay. If you're not too familiar with the other Power Ranger shows, those are the names of towns that other Rangers exist in. And my favorite part, I was just giggling with joy, was when they get into Zords and they're playing the 1995 Power Rangers movie theme song. Man, my heart jumped right then and there. Ultimately, they defeat Goldar, and by combining all their Zords, and they stab them down instead of doing the ceremonious slice and explosion that they typically do. They kept it more grounded. And Rita trying to jump right at them. The Megazord swats Rita right into space. And of course, there's the cameo of Jason David Frank and Amy Jo Johnson, the ones who played the original Green Ranger and original Pink Ranger. They're playing a couple that takes some snapshots of the Megazord. Yeah, I liked the changes. I went into the movie not really expecting it to be Oscar worthy, but because Power Rangers has over 20 years of history, it's been in moments of wackiness, it's been in moments of serious, deep, thought provoking moments, really good plots, and it goes back and forth. So the thing about Power Rangers is you can either have them be very serious or very goofy. This movie actually finds a way of making it really deep and meaningful with good acting and good writing, and still keep some wacky moments in it. You can't go on and on about the good without saying the bad, even though I really want to, because this is my childhood and I'm trying to be unbiased, so I have to nitpick a little. There was no Bulk and Skull. They were replaced by crabby girls and one jerk of a kid, redhead kid. But that's kind of your bullies today. Your bullies aren't your, grudgy, gonna beat everyone up, as much as underhanded or just one that just kind of keeps picking at someone. Bulk and Skull, they were just kind of over the top caricatures of bullies. Here, these are the bullies that represent what they would be today in the movie. I didn't mind the costumes. The costumes, yeah, they kind of look like Iron Man, but I would say they're more Ultraman or Guyver. The Zords were fine. People complain about the CGI fight with Goldar and the Zords. It's 2017. I gotta let that go. And the biggest thing I actually laughed at was Krispy Kreme. For a director and a marketing strategist, they really had some balls to put Krispy Kreme, not just a product placement like in a background. Like Man of Steel, people said, oh, there were too many product placements, but at least in Man of Steel, they were in a background because they're real stores. In this movie, it's not just a store or, donut shop. No, it's the place where Goldar has to go to dig up the Zeo crystal. It's like, bam, right there. And even had Rita Repulsa stopping in the middle of a fight just to have a donut. They really should have just ended that scene with her holding a thumbs up. But, yeah, you know what? This movie is not going to be the 90s Power Rangers that we know, but it's a reboot. It's a movie on its own. It doesn't affect the current continuation of Power Rangers right now. It's just its own thing. It's just another interpretation. So I've been pretty generous with movies I've reviewed before. In this one, just mostly because of the couple of nitpicks that I have to say. And the biggest nitpick is having to wait a long time before you see them as Power Rangers, which is, of course, again, expected. So I'm going to go ahead and say the movie is A-. I will be trying to do another review. You can also catch the non-spoiler version. But I'm trying to do a review coming up as Anthonix Maximus. So keep an eye out for that. I wanted to have released it last week, but you know how it is, scheduling, and some of us have to actually work regular jobs in between. So, thanks for watching.